The Eagle Bloodline have hubs all over the world, but they have three main ones that currently control everything, apart from a few countries they don't yet have control over. And above these three main hubs, there is the most important one of all, the very top of the pyramid of power. Let's talk about these four hubs and their role. The City of London. The City of London, the financial district, is a separate entity within the United Kingdom. It has its own governance, the City of London Corporation, and certain privileges and exemptions that differentiate it from the rest of the UK. This is the Eagle Bloodline's main financial centre. It is a key power centre within the Eagle Bloodline's network of control. The City of London is not just a financial district, but a symbolic and functional hub of influence that operates independently of the United Kingdom's broader governance. Key roles: autonomy and unique status. The City of London is a distinct entity from within Greater London, governed by the City of London Corporation. The institution operates with its own mayor, the Lord Mayor of London, independent of the UK's political structure. The autonomy allows the City of London to function as a state within a state, free from many of the regulations and oversights that apply to the rest of the UK. Financial powerhouse. The City of London is one of the world's leading financial centres, home to major banks, insurance companies, and investment firms. The concentration of financial power enables the city to influence global markets, government, and economies. The role of institutions like the Bank of England and the London Stock Exchange are tools for controlling global finance. Historical roots of Eagle power. The city's power can be traced back to the days of the British Empire, which it served as a financial engine for imperial expansion. The wealth generated during this period allowed the Eagle families who controlled the city to consolidate their power and influence. Symbolism and secret societies. The symbolic elements associated with the City of London on its boundaries and the Temple Bar are evidence of ties to secret societies like the Freemasons. The Temple Church, located in the city, is a historic site linked to the Knights Templar, not the Gnostic Templars, who were the original Serpent Bloodline order, but to the later faux Christian Templars, who founded the Freemasons and whom are precursors to modern Eagle networks. Role in the Global Eagles network. The City of London is a central node in a global web of Eagle control, working in concert with other power hubs. The city as a base for international banking cartels and Eagle Bloodline families, including the Rothschilds. The Crown and the City. The British Crown, the monarchy, and the Crown, as it pertains to the City of London, suggests that the city represents a different kind of sovereignty, one that prioritises financial interests over national governance. Tax havens and global finance. The City of London is often connected to a network of offshore tax havens, such as the Channel Islands and the Cayman Islands. These havens allow Eagles to hide their wealth and avoid taxation, consolidating their economic power, perpetuating inequality. The City of London's influence perpetuates economic inequality by prioritizing the interests of the financial elite over those of ordinary people. The banking system, particularly fractional reserve banking, is used as a tool of exploitation in the city's financial practices. Vatican City. Vatican City is a sovereign city-state within Rome, Italy. It is a significant centre of religious and political power, influencing global affairs while being independent of Italian law. It is a central hub of influence within the global Eagles network, functioning as a religious, political, and symbolic powerhouse. The Vatican plays a key role in maintaining control over humanity through spiritual and psychological means tied to secret societies, occult practices, and historical power structures. Key roles: spiritual and psychological control. The Vatican uses religion, particularly Catholicism, as a tool to control human thought and behaviour. Organised religion, led by the Vatican, has been instrumental in suppressing knowledge, fostering guilt, and instilling fear to maintain societal obedience. The Vatican is a means of perpetuating a spiritual prison that prevents people from realizing their true potential and connection to a universal consciousness. Historical role in power structures. The Vatican ties to historical empires, particularly the Roman Empire, suggesting that it represents a continuation of imperial control under a religious guise. The Council of Nicaea, 325 CE, is where early Christianity was co-opted and transformed into a state religion to serve the interests of the ruling Eagle Bloodline. Connections to secret societies. The Vatican has links to secret societies such as the Freemasons. These groups share esoteric knowledge and work together to manipulate world events. The Jesuit order is a powerful fraction within the Vatican that operates behind the scenes, influencing global politics and finance. Occult symbolism and practices. The Vatican is steeped in occult symbolism and practices which are hidden in plain sight. Examples include the obelisk in St. Peter's Square, which is a phallic symbol tied to ancient Egyptian and Babylonian religions. The Vatican's use of rituals and ceremonies, which are rooted in esoteric tradition rather than Christian teachings. See my other videos for more on that. Wealth and financial influence. The Vatican has immense wealth, which is hypocritical given its teachings on humility and poverty. The Vatican Bank, which is involved in corruption and financial manipulation. The accumulation of priceless art, treasures and land, which is evidence of the Vatican's materialistic and power-driven agenda. Role in the global Eagles network. The Vatican is one of the 3 major power centres in the world. These centres work together to establish a one-world government, economy and religion, with the Vatican playing the role of spiritual authority. Suppression of knowledge. The Vatican is hoarding ancient knowledge and suppressing information that could empower humanity. The Vatican's secret archives are a repository of hidden truths about human history and advanced technologies. This suppression is deliberate and aimed at maintaining the Vatican's control over human perception and preventing societal awakening. Involvement in global politics. The Vatican exerts significant influence over global politics, often through its diplomatic network and relationship with world leaders. The Pope's role as a political figure suggests the papal statements on issues like climate change, migration, and social justice align with Eagle agendas. Alleged corruption and scandals. Scandals involving the Vatican, such as cases of sexual abuse, financial misconduct, and political intrigue, is evidence of its moral and institutional decay. These scandals are not isolated incidents, but systemic issues that reflect the Vatican's true nature as a corrupt power structure. Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. functions as a quasi-independent entity within the United States, which ties to federal government and its relationship with global Eagle networks. Washington, D.C. as a key power center in the global Eagle's network of control, functioning primarily as a military and political arm of a hidden, centralized authority. It is part of the triad of power hubs. Key roles: symbolism and occult design. The symbolism embedded into Washington, D.C.'s architecture and layout reflects the influence of secret societies, particularly the Freemasons. The design of the city, like the Washington Monument and Obelisk, and the Capitol building, are rooted in ancient esoteric traditions. These symbols are evidence of the city's connection to occult power structures and its role in a larger plan to manipulate humanity. Military power and global control. Washington, D.C. is the center of military power, used by the global Eagle network to enforce their agendas worldwide. The role of the U.S. military-industrial complex, which is controlled by the Eagles, to destabilize nations, promote wars, and expand their influence. Washington's foreign policy is a tool for spreading globalist agendas under the guise of promoting democracy and freedom. The federal government as a puppet. The U.S. federal government, headquartered in Washington, D.C., does not truly serve the American people, but instead operates as a puppet of hidden Eagle bloodlines. Lobbying, corporate influence, and the revolving door between politics and big business is evidence of this manipulation. Politicians in Washington are figureheads, with real decisions being made by unelected individuals and organizations behind the scenes. Connection to secret societies. Washington, D.C. is linked to secret societies like the Freemasons, the Skull and Bones Society, and various other Eagle orders. These groups yield significant influence over U.S. politics and policies. Many of America's founding fathers, including George Washington, were Freemasons, and their influence is embedded in the city's design and institutions. High-ranking politicians and officials are members of these societies, advancing the Eagle's agenda. The District of Columbia's unique status. Washington, D.C. is not part of any U.S. state and operates as a separate federal district. This is a symbolic representation of its independence from the American people and its role as a tool of the global Eagle network. Washington, D.C. is part of a triad of independent city-states that function as centres of global power. Think tanks and policy influence. The role of Washington-based think tanks, such as the Council on Foreign Relations and Brookings Institute, are vehicles for Eagle influence. These organizations craft policies that benefit multinational corporations, financial institutions, and the military-industrial complex, often at the expense of ordinary citizens. The role in the Federal Reserve. Although technically located in the city of Washington, the Federal Reserve System ties to Washington's role in Eagle control. The Federal Reserve, despite its name, is not truly a government institution, but a privately controlled entity used to manipulate the economy and consolidate wealth. Washington's role in the global agenda. Washington, D.C. is the enforcement arm of a global agenda to centralize power, erode national sovereignty, and establish a one-world government. International organizations based in Washington, such as the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, are tools of spreading economic control over developing nations. Presidential puppetry. US presidents, despite their public prominence, are selected and controlled by Eagle networks. They act as figureheads, implementing pre-planned agendas while giving the illusion of democratic choice. The role of political dynasties such as the Bush and Clinton families are evidence of Eagle control over the presidency. Use of fear and propaganda. Washington, D.C. plays a central role in using fear, e.g. terrorism, pandemics, or foreign threats, to manipulate public perception and justify policies that advance Eagle agendas. Events like 9/11 were orchestrated or exploited by Eagles based in Washington to expand surveillance, erode freedoms, and promote endless wars. Now we have discussed the important triad of hubs and their roles. It is now time to talk about the most important and main Eagle hub in the entire world. The country, Switzerland. Switzerland is above all the other hubs. All of the most important decisions are made there. It is a place where the very top Eagle families reside and make decisions about what will happen in other countries and globally. Key roles: neutrality and banking. Switzerland's long-standing neutrality in global conflicts is a sign of its unique position in world affairs. This neutrality is not purely coincidental, but serves the interests of powerful global Eagle bloodlines, who use Switzerland as a secure hub for financial operations. Swiss banking system. Switzerland's banking secrecy laws ensure that the Swiss banking system has historically been a safe haven for the wealth of Eagles, enabling them to hide or launder money away from public scrutiny. Geneva as a global hub. Geneva is home to many international organizations, such as the United Nations, the World Health Organization, and the World Economic Forum. This concentration of global institutions is evidence that Switzerland plays a significant role in facilitating Eagle agendas. Symbolism and alleged connections to secret societies. Switzerland ties to secret societies such as the Freemasons or the patriarchal fake Eagle Templar orders. The symbolic elements like the Swiss flag, a white cross on a red background, is indeed the main symbol of these orders. The red colour represents fire and masculine energy. The Red Cross and other organisations. The International Red Cross, which was founded in Switzerland, is part of the country's association with humanitarian organisations that sometimes serve hidden agendas. Their vaccination programs are a prime example of this. Alpine Fortress concept. Switzerland's geographic features, particularly the Alps, make it a natural stronghold. This has historically allowed it to remain a secure and isolated base for the activities of powerful individuals or groups. Switzerland can be framed as a country within a country, in a metaphorical sense, serving as a base for global Eagle Bloodlines, rather than functioning independently in a legal or political sense. These 4 hubs are the most powerful in the world right now, and although I don't see the most important one, Switzerland, changing anytime soon, there are plans underway to change the location of military power from Washington, D.C. to another country outside the US. There are plans to stage a complete breakdown so that people will believe they have new leaders. But of course, it couldn't be further from the truth. They have changed the location of military power many times in the past. Though the location changes, those controlling it never does. This topic would not be complete without mentioning some of the ways they influence the public and hence world events. Think tanks. The significant influence of think tanks is shaping global policy, public opinion, and governance. These organizations are tools used by powerful Eagle families to push agendas that align with their interests, often behind the scenes. Here are some key points about think tanks and their influence. Control through intellectual influence. Think tanks are not merely advisory bodies, but mechanisms for centralized control. They create policies, narratives, and ideologies that governments, corporations, and media outlets adopt and disseminate. Their real purpose is to steer society towards a pre-planned direction, often without the public's awareness. Networks of global influence. These think tanks form part of a broader network of organizations and institutions that work in concert to achieve global control. Examples include the Council on Foreign Relations, shaping US foreign policy and promoting globalist agendas, the Trilateral Commission, to push for closer economic and political integration among North America, Europe and Asia, the Bilderberg Group, an exclusive meeting of elites to coordinate policies and strategies globally, the Club of Rome, to promote climate change and environmental crises as a means of control, shaping public policy and opinion. Think tanks are intermediaries between Eagles and governments, ensuring that the policies they develop align with Eagle interests. They manufacture consent through media partnership and educational initiatives, making their ideas seem like organic solutions rather than orchestrated plans. Hiding in plain sight. Think tanks operate openly but with little public scrutiny, allowing them to influence governments and corporations while maintaining a facade of legitimacy. Their role as advisors disguises their actual function as power brokers. Think tanks and global agenda. These organisations work to dismantle national sovereignty and promote a one-world government, economy and culture. Their focus on globalisation, free trade and supranational governance is evidence of this agenda. Influence on media and education. Think tanks not only influence policy but also shape narratives by collaborating with mainstream media and academic institutions. This ensures that their ideas become part of the public consciousness. Examples of specific think tanks. Rand Corporation, to influence military and defence policies that serve Eagle interests. Brookings Institute, for promoting policies that align with corporate and Eagle goals. Chatham House, Royal Institute of International Affairs, a central hub for globalist planning in the UK. Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, advancing agendas under the guise of promoting peace. Aspen Institute serves as a tool for global Eagle network to shape policies, influence public opinion, and promote a centralized global agenda. It works alongside other organizations like the Council on Foreign Relations and Bilderberg Group to erode national sovereignty, indoctrinate future leaders, and align global narratives with the interests of the Eagles. The Institute's focus on issues like climate change and social justice is a cover for advancing technocratic control and global governance. There are so many other organisations I could cover here. I have just given you an overview. The Eagles have their fingers in many pies and are sure to cover all areas. But that's all for now. I hope you found something useful from this video, and I'll make another video soon, so keep tuned. That's all for now. Bye!